What's going on, everyone? Jared here from Kung Fu Music Lessons. It's a beautiful rainy day here, and I figured I'd go ahead and make a little video for you. I want to chat about the Kung Fu Music Lesson curriculum. What is it? What's in there? What's the story of it? How did it get created? Why is the content in there that is in there? What's different about it than other curriculums? Things like that, all right? So basically, to do that, I kind of need to tell my story a little bit and help you understand where I've come from and why I've put certain things in there. So in general, I've gone to 3 different colleges now. I went to one community college for a year here in St. Louis in the music department, and then I went to another university here in St. Louis in the music department. Studied classical music and jazz, of course, as they did have as the main things. I was in jazz band a bit in high school, studied with an outstanding guitar teacher from Berkeley. Basically, I always have had the very best teachers since I started playing. I got a guitar, and 2 weeks later, I started paying for my own lessons. So when I started, I really went all in to learning, you know what I mean? And I did that because I got humiliated so bad, which was like one of the greatest experiences, and actually something that I think is so fun and funny now, the story of how that happened. But I was so humiliated that I was like, whoa, I'm going to go take lessons, So I've always paid for my own lessons and been doing that the whole time. But like I said, I was in jazz band as well in high school. Then I went to one college, another college, and then I went to Musicians Institute, GIT, Guitar Institute of Technology in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. So that's one of the most amazing guitar schools. That started out as the first contemporary guitar conservatory in the world, training people how to be practical professional musicians, how to be pro studio musicians. You roll up to any session, you can do it. You can play any genre of music. You know exactly what to do as a high-level pro. And I love that. It's a trade school for music. There are 0 other classes, except for in the bachelor's program and above, because they have different programs now. And then you have to do stuff. But mostly it's all music all day, and you're playing with some of the best people in the world. Literally. Like Scott Henderson was, there every day, just playing all the time. And I get to hang out. And I went from a college that had 10 guitar students, right, in the classical and jazz department, to MI that had 500 from all around the world. That's incredible. One of the biggest, most amazing things about that, because, really, if you want to improve, you just need to play with a lot of people. The more people you play with, the more things you'll learn. And so these are all obviously some of the best guys from their cities all around the world. They want to be the best, and 500 of those people together was incredible. Those are just the students. And the teachers, like one of my teachers, Dean Brown, he played with Marcus Miller's band for 16 years, and he's incredible. He plays with Dennis Chambers and Hadrian Foote and all these people. He's playing with the best of the best of the best. He played with the Brecker brothers, and the list just goes on. It's really incredible. So I'm getting to pull from that, you know what I mean? And then a lot of my teachers there, like Sid Jacobs is incredible. Dan Gilbert's been there since the time it started. He was one of my private teachers. I think he's one of the best teachers in the world. There's a skill to being a teacher, you know what I mean? So I've taken lessons from all these incredible world-class people. Like one guy, Carl Schroeder, he played with Ella Fitzgerald and stuff like that. You know what I mean? The people that are at MI are really the high-level pros. Really some of the best jazz musicians in the world and some of the best fusion musicians in the world. I took lessons from Paul Gilbert while I was there. Paul Gilbert also went to MI. People like Steve Vai go there all the time. All this cool, amazing stuff. The list just goes on. It's incredible. But anyway, so I paid close attention to those things. And before I went to MI, I was checking. Look, the thing that happened with me was this. I was in a band while I was in college, and we were doing great. Local band, we were doing awesome. And I was already teaching at the time, and I was doing great musically, making money, doing everything. And I took lessons from all the best teachers I could in St. Louis, and I always chose the best. I took lessons from Dave Black, Matthew Von Doren, Alan Rosenketter, all these people, and Steve Leslie, just so many incredible teachers. These guys are real high-level pros. I always sought out the best. I didn't care what it cost. I That was the main thing for me. It's like, if you want to be the best, you gotta study with the best. You gotta learn from the best. That was a quote that I wrote down and I read over and over again all the time on my wall. So I would seek them out from the beginning. And that was always my thing. And I did grow extremely fast because I had outstanding mentors and outstanding teachers. And that's a good quote, is like, I heard recently something like, the only real shortcuts in life are like a mentor or a teacher, you know? But anyway, so I studied with the best. I paid for it. I worked, my own job, and paid for my lessons. That was a big, important thing for me in my life. Before I went to MI, though, like I was saying, so basically I stopped going to college because I was really disgusted that most universities only teach classical and jazz, and I was disgusted with the attitude of the teachers who were thinking, if it's not classical and jazz, it is nonsense. And this is how these people thought. And that was hurtful because I was very creative, making all this awesome music, and I like classical and jazz, and I played them, but I want to play other music too. You know what I mean? And so basically, I wasn't happy with it. I stopped going to the school, and then I was seeking out the most contemporary places. So Berkeley was on my top choice, of course. Berkeley in Boston, Berkeley College of Music. MI was on the other coast, and then Belmont is in Nashville. And I was like, all right, there's some other ones, but these are like the top 3 contemporary music colleges in the U.S. that have many genres outside of those 2 that I just listed, which are of course amazing. And the reason they do that is because those are kind of like the 2 highest level genres where you're going to learn and practice and play the most. Like classical has the most advanced techniques, they're playing some of the craziest stuff. Jazz has the most advanced improvisational mental game going on. It's the improvisational genius. So both of those are outstanding. And of course I teach these genres in Kung Fu music lessons, just like every other college, but I want to include everything else. So anyway, that's why I was searching for other schools. And I wanted to go visit all 3. That was my plan. And I researched their curriculums. And I said, I'm going to visit all 3. I went to Belmont. I did not like it at all. They were very uncool to me. I said, what's the rate of professional musicians that graduate here, that actually are pros, like making a living with music? The lady made a fake thing. I said, have you ever heard of Musicians Institute? And she goes, oh yeah, I heard someone went there and is living out of a basement. Like, she was really just trying to sell their course and she was just lying and making stuff up and didn't know and didn't care. So I did not like that vibe. And it wasn't for me, It wasn't for me. It was too fake, too glossy. Like, these people I didn't like that. So I didn't go there. Then I went to go check out MI in LA, which I was pumped about because I had been learning from these incredible musicians, watching their lesson videos, all this insane stuff. The students there, it's just insane. Sean Lane went there, there's all these incredible people. But anyway, when I got there, I friggin' fell in love with it. I loved it. They were really straightforward to me. I was like, what is this like? And asked me all these questions that probably most people don't ask. And this lady was like, look, in the end of the day, it's like you get out what you put in. If you want to do this, you'll be here. The people who are here are real artists. And it's like, it's up to you. She didn't push me at all. She was a real artist. She was working her job, but she was a real artist that was excited to go home and make her art, So I like that. So then anyway, I actually didn't end up going to check out Berkeley because, well, I thought to myself, I really like this LA thing. It's nice and warm all the time. I couldn't imagine myself carrying my amp around in snow and rain and that Boston weather. And I was like, I think this is good enough. Wow. That's awesome. Whew. So anyway, I ended up going to MI. I decided that was it. Went to MI, and it was awesome. Studied with some of the most incredible people ever. Met some of the most incredible friends. Their curriculums are so practical, and the things they did were so amazing. Like, really made me a real pro after going to MI, for real. It's very different. Like, the mentality of the people in the city I moved back to, these guys are not, like, they're not thinking, like, in LA, you don't have second chances. There's 1,000 other guitar players out there wanting to get the gig. You're going to be a real pro. You got to show up professional, on time. There's so many elements to being a real pro musician, and they teach that at MI and give you the opportunities, because all the biggest artists that roll through. All right, I'm out. Oh my god. Okay. Terrifying. Well, that was insane. So we gotta exit the rain. But I'm gonna continue my story. So let's do it. So anyway, yeah, what I was saying is, like, you get the opportunities, because some of the biggest artists who are looking for musicians to play with them, they come in and they go to MI. They go to Berkeley, they go to MI. They check out who's there because they know these guys are trained and are ready to play and go on tour and know how to do it. You know what I mean? So that was cool. I went there. I loved it. I studied with some of the most incredible people. I have, it was awesome. But see, what I pay very close attention to and always have is I read the curriculums of all of those schools as well. I pay attention to what they're teaching, what's in their curriculum. I read that stuff. I want to know. And then I pay close attention to my teachers because I've always been a teacher. I just have this natural teaching ability that I just must do. I don't know why, but it's just like that for me, and I love it. So I've always been a teacher, and so many elements of my life, for my whole life, I've been teaching people things, my whole life. And anyway, I just can't help but do it. I don't know. There's really nothing else to say. I love it, and I can't help but do it. And I know how to explain things well because, that's in my nature as a Gemini too. Whether you think that's real or not, but that's part of it as the communicator. So it's easy for me to communicate to people, and I pay attention to the learning styles, and I'm ambidextrous, and I love being all these open-minded, creative ways. You know what I mean? So I'm open to teaching people in many different ways and looking at all of the ways and not just one idea. And you know what I'm saying? So that's just in my nature as a teacher. So I pay attention to all of my teachers, and I pay attention to what's the best things they do and what's the most effective things they do, and are they good teachers or not, what that means. But 4 main important questions to know is what makes a good student, what makes a bad student, what makes a good teacher, what makes a bad teacher. These are 4 important things all of my students need to answer, because we will be better, both of us, if you answer those questions, because you'll know how to be a good student with me, and I'll know what you want and expect of me to be a good teacher, and we'll know the bad things. So that's going to help us grow. All right, we've entered the 3rd phase of this video. It's hilarious, but you know what? It's okay. This is the life, So anyway, so I'm saying I pay close attention to all the teachers I had throughout the years. I've had over 30 private teachers that I've gone through outside of school and inside of schools. Over 30, and I have a list I can show you. There's some incredible names on there, for real. So just understand that, I have a lot of a wealth of information from all these incredible people, and I pay attention to the very best things they do, and I use that and include these things in my curriculum. I look at all the curriculums all over. I make my own curriculum, but I also take a lot of creative things that are not in curriculums that go way beyond, using philosophy and other things that are going to make us better. For example, I love the way Victor Wooten teaches. I've always loved his methods. It sounds very different, And so all these people, currently I'm taking lessons with his brother, Reggie Wooten. I've been taking lessons with him for years. He's completely changed my life. He's one of the grand masters, I call him, along with, I say, Dan Gilbert. Because Dan Gilbert's one of the best teachers I've ever seen. He knows how to communicate to his students. He knows exactly how to make you better, and he's very good about it. And holding people accountable. Because, if you've ever been chewed out by your teacher, you came unprepared one time and you got your head ripped off, sometimes we need that as students, and it does help. And I've had my head ripped off many times, but I've honestly tried to be a very good student, and I have been most of the time. I'm really prepared, but I've had a couple times where I wasn't and got my head sliced off, and I'm not afraid of that. It's okay. Humiliation always will make you grow. If you ever feel humiliated, that's okay. You just know that's not a bad thing. That means I'm growing. Or, you could choose not to grow from it, but it almost always sets us in our place, helps us grow. So that's what I'm saying. That will help me be even more prepared or whatever. It's okay. So anyway, all these curriculums, all these different schools, and then I look and study other curriculums, and there is so much stuff that you guys have no idea about that is not being taught in schools, and I don't know why. It's ridiculous, but you know what? This is a different type of school. So Kung Fu Music Lessons is a real school Okay, there's a real lengthy curriculum that you have to get through. And think about it, if you go through a curriculum, how long will it take to get through, right? Well, if you want to get a bachelor's degree, it's going to take you 4 years of full-time being a student, 3 years at least, nonstop, without a break, like they do at MI. Okay, so realistically, if you wanted to get from the white strap to the master's strap in my program, if you've already graduated music degree from in college, you would very likely still not be at the master's degree area. There's a very good chance. Those people who would really be there are like for real like masters, But I'm just saying it would take a lot. Like there's many people who graduate who would be close, but would still need to do a lot of things because there's a lot of things in there. So if you hadn't, and even if you had, because I work with a lot of pros, but I mean it would be just the same. If you did it 8 hours a day, it wouldn't take so long, for like 3 years straight. And that's why I'm creating the music monastery where you can come live and actually do that, a real school. Here's one book that Reggie recommended to me. For example, there's like a lot of music history in here that a lot of people don't know. Like I've been reading about all this beautiful Chinese ancient history. This stuff they didn't talk about it in college. Like I don't understand why. Maybe the teachers don't know. There's a lot of the things that is not being taught. But we got to go back to the old times too. We got to know. So anyway, just saying that there's a lot of extra creative things that I'm teaching that others are not. Like emotion theory. Emotion theory is the same thing as music theory, is the same thing as light theory. You have to understand light because you understand what is music. What is music? Well, it's sound. What is sound? Sound is vibration. What is vibration? Once you start really scientifically studying those areas, now we're really getting somewhere. And we got to go there, and then it'll finally come back full circle to how to use that. Because what are we really doing with our music? I don't know what you want to do with it, but the idea of becoming a musical monk is that you're making the world a better place with your music, essentially. Music is power, very powerful. There's so many things to say. I'm not going to go into it. But we have a lot of power as artists and as musicians and in terms of shaping society and so many things, okay? So we're going to use this powerfully. You can, but you need to know these things. So like, for example, one cool thing that people talk about, but I've never seen in anybody else's curriculum, like I have actually the thing, the objective and subjective way of teaching this, which is, for example, understanding the emotion wheel. So you understand basic emotion theory. This is just like everything else. You have 4 basic triads: major, minor, augmented, diminished. Well, you got 4 basic emotions: happy, sad, mad, scared. And then it goes on because our triads expand to sus chords. There's 2 more. Well, the 6 actual basic emotions. So if you understand emotion theory, then we mix that directly into intervals. Every interval has a relationship. It's a relation. It's from here to there. It's an interval. It's a relationship of so many things. But like, what's the relation of tonal gravity or weight or emotion or light from this distance to this distance, for example? All of those things are studied in this program, because then you can very purposefully create the exact sounds or images or geometry that you want musically, or like Reggie teaches me, or Morse code and stuff like that, if you want to. It's just about communication. But there's a lot of things to say. So in the end, what I'm saying is this curriculum is a culmination of the best things I've seen from researching so many other curriculums, plus so many amazing things that I've gotten from my insane, amazing teachers, plus so much more, because in the master strap, when you're in the master strap, the 9th level, white and black, you have to keep taking lessons from your dream teachers, from people you'd love. That's why, I'm taking lessons with Reggie Wooten. That's a dream come true for me. I think he's one of the most creative guitar players on the planet. And I was completely starstruck and surprised that when I got a hold of him and I could actually take lessons. And then what I've actually learned has been a lifetime's worth of information that I have to catch up to already. So it's amazing. So yeah, I'm young. You know, people might think I'm young, but don't worry. I was teaching people who'd played for 50 years when I was only 22 anyway. Just because I'm that teacher. You know, I told you I can't help myself. I just learn the stuff I love. I just love it. I have to do it. So there's like a teacher's teacher. And when you teach for a long time, you learn. But I study with the teachers. There's a thing, it's like, and I train teachers, you know, and I've been doing this in ROTC, Marine Corps ROTC, train people. I was in there for 4 years. That was an important aspect, and I should say that's an important element of this. I also, of course, actually practice Shaolin Kung Fu and martial arts. And I love Kung Fu and martial arts. And a lot of my program and this curriculum was adopted based off of actual martial art training as well. The way I structure my class is the ways that I've gone into Kung Fu classes and the way they format the class. Just like in songs, there's a form: intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, you know, verse, chorus, bridge, double chorus, outro. Well, in classes, there's a format to what we're going to study in order. And I have a format in my lesson program in Kung Fu music lessons. That's one of the reasons why it's so effective. It's like, we're going to do this, 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 this. And you can expect that every time, you know. And I want people to ask me specifics. Jared, I want to do this. I always ask my students, what do you want to do? Is there anything very specific you had in mind? Questions, thoughts, ideas, anything. Every time, because when I take a lesson, I always have something specific for my teachers. At least one thing every single time. I always have stuff I'm ready to share. And when I feel like I have questions, I want to take more lessons. That's when I hit my teachers up, if I'm not just doing it regularly already. So I ask those questions, that's what I'm saying, but I also have an actual curriculum and a path exactly in order that's going to give you those practical things that I learned at MI and more, because the thing is, I will never stop evolving this program. It has always been my dream to create one of the most creative music programs on the planet. And what does that mean? That means people are actually writing music, because the word creative means you're actually creating. It's creating creative students who are unique and different and who are expressing themselves properly. That's why we learn that emotion theory, so you know how to express yourself. I don't want to sound like anyone else. I can't stand when people want me to make these typical licks of sound like other people or something, because that was never my goal. Yeah, I want to transcribe a lot from like the things that I love and understand that and get it into me, but I really want to speak from my heart and sing with my instrument when I play. So I've also found a way to where people will find out who they are in the fifth level, 5th out of 9. And as they grow, they'll only understand that more and more and more through the program, how to really speak from their own true voice. Like, it's cool if you can sound exactly like John Scofield or whatever, but when I'm at a concert, I don't care how famous the person is. I'm really not that impressed when I hear that. You know what I mean? I'm not. Like, I want to hear the uniqueness of that individual. That's why I like them. That's why I liked Reggie so much, because he's so unique. And I'm like, I love that he has his sound. And like, people will know, okay, Jeff Beck really has his own sound. That's like a popular one, but there's so many. And that's what I'm ingraining into all of these people. I want to set you free. I want you to know who you are, how to create exactly the sounds that you want, how to truly play from your heart authentically, so other people feel that when they hear you play. That's powerful. So this is really, truly for people who are honestly passionate about music. You can go through the first few levels and just learn outstanding basics. You know, see, like these techniques I learned from classical music and stuff, these are really important. I learned a lot about structuring proper foundation of learning, but there's the yin yang, there's practice and play. You have to do both, you know, and you must train. And so anyway, I've taken philosophies from actual Shaolin Kung Fu and from all these music teachers, and I put it all in the same place, because we should talk about Shaolin Kung Fu for a second, because I love it so much. And one of the reasons is because these people are real masters at something. They become true masters. Why? Because like my Shifu told me, he's a Shaolin monk. I actually work at a Shaolin Kung Fu school with Shifu Jingshui. He's an awesome guy, amazing. He's here in St. Louis. Check him out. Such an amazing person. But, you know, like he told me, they train 8 hours every single day in the Shaolin Temple. Like every day. All the time. Every day. They're not just messing around, sitting around watching TV and shit. pardon me. But you know what I mean. They're actually training 8 hours every single day. I'm sure you guys have heard of the 10,000 hour rule. Well, that doesn't apply unless it's perfect practice. Not practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. That's why you gotta. That's why we always do technique focus for the first bit of the session, and focus on perfect technique, and then you don't have to think about it anymore because it'll just naturally do that. But see, there's the yin and yang. You must do both, because if you have great technique, it'll be easier to play without thinking. So let's think about it really intently for 5 or 10 minutes, and then let's not think about it anymore and get creative and don't even think about that. But doing both. And these guys are definitely focusing on their technique. If you ever watch Shaolin Monk, their technique is perfect. So they're training 8 hours every single day. And it's like Steve Vai said, and I used to play purposefully 10 hours every single day when I went to MI, and I would really hit that. And I'm being for real. Like, the guitar is in my hands for 10 waking hours, and I've spent a lot of time learning this. By the way, when I went to MI, I was reading a lot of books on how to learn faster. And I've been studying like human potential for a long time and teaching personal development too. That's another thing I do. I have a personal development company. So all of this stuff comes into my music teaching. I've trained people in ROTC, physical training, training people, with their holistic life, and training people in music, training people in all these different facets, teaching so many different things. I put it all together into one. And like I was saying before, one thing is, I'm going to keep taking lessons forever. This program will keep evolving. As teachers get added here, everybody's going to... See, I'm creating teachers. I'm creating the most creative place, right? I'm creating teachers, and I'm creating artists. And I'm creating true love for music with people to share. And I think that is so beautiful, And this isn't like some corny sales stuff. This is the truth. This is what my heart is doing. This is my contribution to the world. This is my legacy. This is part of it. This is just part of it. And through my actual art, there's Joe Marie's art, but through my art, which is my artistry, my music that I release, I'm doing that same thing. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, a lot of elements into what's happening here. Pulling from actual Shaolin Kung Fu, pulling from all the masters of everything, and really learning how to express yourself with music and get lost and be free and have fun. So this is about mastery. And I know a lot of people don't like that word. They think it's too much. They say, oh, mastery. But you know what? Like, if you're a Shaolin monk and you train 8 hours a day for 10 years, you get really, really good. You do it for another 10 years, you kind of like are becoming a real master. Like 20 years of 8 hours a day for real. Straight. Okay? Then 30 years, 40 years, they become a grand master with age. But if you train for 40 years and 8 hours a day, you're going to become a real master. Pat Metheny, for example, does play 8 hours a day for 40 years, 50 years now. Read his stuff. He's been playing 8 hours a day the whole time. That's why he's one of the greatest guitarists on the planet and musicians alive. By the way, he's from Missouri. I'm from Missouri too. One of that one. And Miles Davis, of course, he's St. Louis, but St. Louis. Yeah, love it. Also, I share the same birthday with Miles Davis. Love that too. That's inspiring to me. So that creates some creative juices for me too. And Miles Davis type of philosophy of how he trained his band and the way he approached music. You know what I mean? These are the kind of thoughts that are inspiring me to create this curriculum and to give to everybody. So, like I was saying, part of this is this curriculum will always evolve because I'm always taking lessons on purpose from some of the best musicians alive. On purpose, for the sake of me, for my dream, for fun, for all my students, and for the creation of what I want to create, one of the greatest music programs in the world. To create this beautiful legacy of honest truth and of music. And there will be real mastery that comes out of it for the people who are really excited in this way. And this is not for everybody. But I am creating a real school where you can go called the Music Monastery and live. And we will train like Shaolin monks in the sense that we will play 8 hours a day. It's in the curriculum. You're actually going to play 8 hours a day. Every day while you're there. And everybody who's mandatory has to do 1 hour of physical exercise every day too. Plus, for sure, 8 hours within our school time. After that, you can do whatever you want. Most people will keep training. Like Shifu said. He's like, yeah, we had to train 8 hours a day. The laziest people train 8 hours a day and don't do anything else maybe when they're done. But most people keep doing it because they actually love it. And there's nothing else to do anyway. So I'm creating a real place like that. And it is about mastery, but it's not about ego. It's truly for the love and pursuit of music that never ends. You see, it's truly for that and to create a better world with music. So, anyway, this is what I'm pulling from in terms of creating my curriculum. All these amazing teachers who get added to this, we will keep adding insanely cool things that most people are not thinking of. Okay, so I study the most creative teachers in the world, and then I take lessons from them, and then I can add all this amazing stuff in here forever. It will be a never-ending evolution of music. So this is part of my legacy, and I want this to continue after I die, and it will just keep growing, and we'll have a huge vault, not necessarily a real vault, but like a real wealth of information collected from all of these things. And that's what I'm creating here, and that's what already exists here as well. Right now, the curriculum is awesome. So I didn't say so much of what it is, but I can tell you that I feel like it's on par to practical things that you would do in any other university, especially when you come live at the music monastery and play 8 hours every single day. Otherwise, you can take hourly or half-hour lessons once a week or whatever, or do the additional classes that we offer for live performance workshops, improvisation workshops, weekly ones, music theory classes, ear training classes, all of these things, extracurriculars with your actual lessons. And so, anyway, the teachers also who are in here are amazing musicians and are thinking in that way, thinking in a way that is open-minded to learning. I don't want any teacher who thinks that they're amazing and are not going to take lessons from anyone else because they're already so good. That's not okay. Not for me, at least. Not because I don't think that way in this program. I'll keep taking lessons till the day I die. And guess what? I'll just keep getting better and better and better and better all the time. And it's going to be incredible. And I have already learned so much information from so many outstanding teachers. And I'm sharing that with all of you, anyone who wants to be involved in this program. So the people I want in this program are people who basically will be committed to being disciplined with music, meaning that they will play every single day. You're going to practice every day. Have a practice routine. Practice and play. That's the thing. Warm up for whatever time period, different for different levels. Let's just say an hour. And then play all day. After you warmed up, it's going to be a lot better. Promise. I promise. I've done it the other way and just never warmed up and just played, but no, if I actually practice for an hour first and really focus and do a good warm-up, then I don't think I always play way better. Always play better, sound better, more accurate, more confident. Everything is better. That's why it's that's the yin-yang in here too. We're going to practice and we're going to play. It's like a fighter. You're going to practice fighting and then you're going to go fight. It's a musician. You're going to practice your songs and then you're going to hit the stage. You know what I mean? And actually play them. So we got to do all those elements. So anyway, many philosophies and sciences and arts and things that are mixed into the creation of Kung Fu music lessons and in the curriculum. But again, in the curriculum is actual things that you would do in any other university. Plus, we're doing way more. One more example is part of the higher level, you have to make your own albums, right? Create your own music, create your own albums. You have to actually earn money. You have to teach, and you get paid. It's not an internship. I'll get you paid. I will teach you how to make money and actually live as a musician for a living, and invest in that. You know what I'm saying? You go to school. Normally, your homework isn't get paid. You see, you actually have to earn money while being in this program, because I like to get paid to learn, and I teach my students how to do that same thing. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the real value. What we're supposed to go to school. Music school is different because it's a real passion. But you're supposed to go to school so you learn how to make money, right, and pay for your life. Well, I'll show you how to do that with music, but I'll have you do that in this program before you leave. And I think colleges should be like that. You should be, for some things, you can't do all that. It takes a lot of practice. That's the main thing, is you actually practice. And that's a cool thing about music. It's you can show that you can do it or not. It's a real thing. You can either play it or you can't, and that's a good thing. But either way, I'm saying that you should be earning money while you're being educated. And then it's okay, well, I'm paying for education. Yeah, but you're making money too. I'll show you how to make a lot more money than it costs to be in this program, and you'll pay your expenses. But it's not just about that. That's just another thought. So making money is actually a part of this program, depending on the level you're in. Once you're in the higher levels, you know you're going to be a pro musician because I don't think anybody else would go that far. They're just not going to do it. They're not going to do the work unless they really want to be um, a lifelong musician. Making a living. That's most likely. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't had anyone get there yet that high up like that. So, but anyway, these are some of the ideas that inspire this curriculum. This is the way this thing will keep growing. And I have all these teachers that I'm pulling in and all these incredible minds that I will be affiliating with and that already are. Just watch the Kung Fu Music Master interview series. Check out who's on there right now. These guys are amazing, and there's certain people I'll always pull in here because it's always learning from more people is better than just one. You know what I'm saying? But if you do learn from me personally, do know that you're learning from a lot of people because I'm pulling from all these other teachers I've had. Think about if your teachers only had 1 or 2 private teachers their whole life. I've had over 30 and I keep finding more of them. So just imagine what I can share with you. You know what I'm saying? So I love that, and that's it. So here's some info on the inspiration and creation of what's in here. I don't want to share exactly what's in here on all the stuff, but it'll be the stuff you would do anywhere else, plus a lot more cool stuff, I think, as well. So that's it. I guess I'd just say that since I've created Kung Fu music lessons, my students have all learned like 10 times faster than before I had it. And I was already, I believed, a good teacher, writing everything down and doing anything. But now that I have a curriculum and it's exact and they know where they're going and they know what's next and we can explore all these lessons in so many ways, it's just so much more clear. Then that's why I say is I ask you what you want, but I also have a place. A lot of teachers just like, what do you want to do today? And you just kind of like do this or that. But to complete the whole idea, there's a chronological order of events that should be taking place as well. Of course we can learn all over the board, but there's certain things you just really need to understand to keep climbing that ladder. And I have a really tall ladder here. All right. So anyway, I'm still climbing it myself, and I love it. And I'm taking lessons with other teachers to learn things that I'm teaching too, and to see things in new ways and just keep getting there, and all that stuff. So it's a never-ending quest for musical growth and fun. And that's really it. So anyway, if that excites you, get in this program. I want to teach the people who are excited, who are passionate about music, and who are actually going to train. If you're not one of those people, go to someone else. It's all good. Much love to you too. But I want the people who are ready and who really want to do it and learn. So I make this program affordable in comparison to other lesson prices, like really affordable everywhere. And I can do that for you. But I do that because I want you to be here for a long time, because this ladder is huge. And if you're going to be climbing that ladder, you know what I mean? I want to make sure that you can afford it. That's what I'm saying. Even though the money thing is not, anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying I think this is one of the most affordable and effective music programs out there. So I'm giving you this amazing gold and knowledge that I want to share with people, and that I'm going to keep growing onto this empire. And and I want to share that with you. So get in here and please ask me questions. If you want to set up a lesson, let's do it. All right, see you later.